Hello everyone, and welcome to Darwin Plateau, Death Valley Adventure 4. I'm standing here at the head of Rainbow Canyon, and just a short distance from here, two good friends and I are going to begin an exciting backpacking adventure which will begin on the Darwin Plateau and end at Lake Hill Road. But along the way, we're going to be seeing some amazing scenery that very few people have ever seen here in Death Valley National Park. So we look forward to sharing this backpacking adventure with you, and we hope you enjoy it. Here we are at the beginning of our backpacking adventure across the Darwin Plateau. We've dropped off one vehicle at the end of Lake Hill Road, where in 3 days we're going to finish up our route. We're parked just west of Father Crowley Point at near the northernmost bend on Highway 190. So let me introduce you to Alicia and Michelle, my two friends I'm going to be hiking with the next 3 days.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I've been hiking in Death Valley for a couple years now, coming and going on lots of adventures, and I'm really excited about this one because it hits a lot of places that I haven't been to yet. So I'm especially excited to see the dunes and to check out Mill Canyon and hopefully a waterfall.
Hi, my name's Michelle. I've lived in California since 2018 and have been coming to Death Valley since then. And I'm excited for this trip because it's a big swath of Death Valley that I haven't been to before. So it'll be fun to explore a whole new part.
As our hike starts out, we're heading down this rugged old four-wheel drive road. Not really passable anymore, but we're using it as a hiking trail to go down and get onto the Darwin Plateau, which we are going to cross for the next 3.5 miles until we get to our first main objective. As we've started crossing the plateau, we have this view back looking towards the highway and our parking spot not far from the northernmost bend there on the highway. The terrain of the Darwin Plateau changes quite a bit as you go. So as we are crossing this section, you can see it's a lot of bush dodging, but very easy terrain to walk across. You can make really good time. As we cross the Darwin Plateau, let me take a moment and tell you about our first objective on this backpacking trip. We have a couple marker spots that have been put into my GPS. We're passing by the right side of the first hill and then the left side of the farther hill, which is red colored. So those are navigation aids used when coming out here from the highway. But the reason we're crossing the plateau here is to get to the head of Lee Wash's main side canyon. And there at the rim of that canyon, that side canyon, just has an absolutely incredible overlook of the canyon below and even looking far beyond. As the name suggests, the Darwin Plateau is quite flat. So a small hillside like this that rises up out of the plateau provides a good marker spot. And this is the first hillside we needed to stay to the right of. The terrain has changed a little bit. The ground is a lot firmer. And just up ahead, you can see the red hillside. So that was our second marker spot, to stay to the left of that red hillside. And we're getting pretty close. We are passing to the left of that red hillside right now. And the plateau that we were crossing, we've pretty much finished that and we've dropped into a wash. The anticipation is really building as we've now completed our crossing and are just arriving at the rim of Lee Wash Main Side Canyon. This is my second time here, so I know how special this viewpoint is, and I'm really excited to be back here to see it again. And Alicia and Michelle get to see it for their first time. So this is going to be a special moment, walking up here and looking out over the edge. This right here is the viewpoint from the overlook of Lee Wash Main Side Canyon. We're right here at the rim of the first major dry fall, looking down canyon. I truly feel like this is one of the most spectacular viewpoints in Death Valley. Just looking down at this canyon, which is so deeply cut and has such amazing colors to it. So now we're going to actually work our way around the rim of the canyon along the top, along the right side or east side of the canyon. In the background there you can see the Darwin Plateau as it comes to an abrupt end right here at the top of Lee Wash Main Side Canyon. As I continue down along this rim, I'm going to share some more outstanding views like this.
To be here at a really perfect time of year and probably the perfect year to do this hike, because the green on the hillside really contrasts with the red and the rock. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
From here we have an amazing view of the Panamint Dunes looking out. We can see the end of the Main Side Canyon, and then that continues on as it merges into Lee Wash. And that drains out into Panamint Valley. And the Panamint Sand Dunes, where we'll be a couple days from now, just beyond. But I just mentioned to the girls something, that this whole area, Lee Wash Main Side Canyon. The main side canyon by itself is just incredibly beautiful and spectacular walking along it from above. And it's amazing to think that maybe only a few hikers every year or two come out and see this special place. But we're very grateful to be here today. We're heading down to this gully just below so we can find our way into the bottom of the canyon.
We're too big and scary. We have weird sticks. Yeah, that looks like.
Here's a view of the boulder-filled gully we've been working our way down. And we're about 2/3 of the way to the bottom. Once again, there's the gully we came down, and it ended on this major dry fall right here. Right down below, this is Lee Wash Main Side Canyon. As you can see, we're almost down. Just a little bit more to do. Going down the final section here. Very slippery, lots of loose rocks. Taking it slow. Well, we're all breathing a sigh of relief. We made it down that very challenging obstacle. There's a dry fall behind me. That's actually where the gully ends. So we had to move over and then come down this steep hillside seen right here. So I should put a safety alert in here that this hiking's not meant for the general public or regular hikers. This is something that I've done before, so I was able to show the route, and all of us had the necessary experience to get through this, but it was very challenging. I also wanted to add, due to time constraints, we're not going to actually hike up the main side canyon and check out all the beautiful narrows up there, but instead we're heading down to the junction with Lee Wash, and we're going to begin hiking up that canyon. Down here at the very end of Lee Wash Main Side Canyon, just some vivid red colors on the canyon walls. These red cliffs high above me here at near the mouth of the main side canyon kind of provide a teaser glimpse of what lies ahead if someone were to keep hiking up Lee Wash Main Side Canyon. Very spectacular beauty, and there's even more up the side canyon. But where we're going to also see quite a bit of beauty. So pretty right here with these red cliffs and the purple and yellow flowers, like a natural flower garden. And here we are at the junction. That is looking down canyon, down Lee Wash, as it flows into Panamint Valley. In our direction, we're heading up Lee Wash. Our first view looking up Lee Wash. Check out that massive rock slide there. All the colors of the canyon wall fell down together and mixed together. Just a short distance into Lee Wash, I'm remembering one of the things I really appreciate about this canyon, and that's that around every bend there's something new and interesting to see. The canyon walls, the color bands, the designs, it's constantly changing. And really impressed, and we've only gone a short distance through this canyon so far. There's so many colors just right here. Really love these orangish color bands that are found throughout Lee Wash. Neat right here, goes all the way down to the canyon floor. We are now entering the deepest narrows of Lee Wash. So this is as tightly as the canyon will close in together through here. The darkness through there is the gateway into the Narrows. We just emerged from the Narrows into this very bright, colorful hillside. Look at these beautiful rock layers. Different colors, different textures. And here is a dry fall right in the midst of it. What a truly beautiful spot in the canyon right here. Check out the dry fall, major dry fall at the upper right there, pouring over the rim of the canyon. More colorful walls. Here's a neat bend in the canyon through some more narrows. The canyon has really opened up wide, but as you can see, the terrain ahead has gotten really challenging. Wash is totally filled with rocks and it's slow going. Right up ahead, we finally reached Plunge Pool Fall, which is the most challenging obstacle in Lee Wash. And look at this, the plunge pool has filled in with sand, rock, and debris. Very interesting. And there is Plunge Pool Fall, the major dry fall, biggest dry fall in this canyon. So again, as I mentioned, that's Plunge Pool down there, and Plunge Pool Fall is behind me. Now what I'm gonna do, I came down this 7 years ago with the help of a rope. I'm gonna check out current conditions and see whether or not it seems safe for our group or not to go ahead and do this, or if we should look for a bypass. So I'm gonna scout it real quick. As I climbed up to scout the bypass route around Plunge Pool Fall, the first thing I noticed was that the rock was very crumbly. I could see up ahead that there were two challenging sections that were sketchy. The lower section had two possible routes to climb through the crumbly rock. I could see here that the left route had more exposure, with crumbly rock ready to break off and collapse into Plunge Pool far below. Since that was a bad option, I moved over to the right route. Climbing up this way had less exposure, but was still sketchy with the crumbly rock, but we could do it. Above, I could see the upper section, which also had two possible routes to climb through a section of solid rock. Similar to the lower section, the upper section's left route had too much exposure, so we wouldn't use that. But by using extreme caution, we would be able to use the right route through the solid rock and make it to the top of Plunge Pool Fall. Well, it wasn't easy, but we all climbed up. Definitely not recommended for regular hikers. That's Plunge Pool right there. Look at that view looking down at it. It's actually a very beautiful spot. It's just getting around it was not easy for our group, but we made it. Here's another view of Plunge Pool Fall. And you can see from this angle how the side of the dry fall there could break away. The layers could break and fall away. So that's why, at least in a guidebook I read, it recommended using ropes to descend this part. The three of us were just sitting here discussing our honest thoughts about climbing up that challenging dry fall. And what do you think of it, Alicia?
It was pretty scary. I mean, it was definitely right at my limit. Would not recommend for anybody who is at all afraid of heights or a casual hiker. Definitely extremely experienced.
I haven't felt fear since 2019. Capitol Reef National Park, and I think that broke my amygdala.
Sounds like there's a story there.
I just got out on an open rock face and was super scared, but that was about it. That's the whole story.
Well, there you have it. And I totally agree with what Alicia said, that we're not recommending this for anybody at all. As the guidebook mentions, maybe somebody who comes through with ropes and experience could get down it. When my friend Josh and I did it about, 7-8 years ago or so, there was a rope in place that helped guide us down, but that rope's long since washed away. We made it up, but it's not something I'm in a hurry to try again. Up ahead right here, just past above Plunge Pool Fall, we've reached the next major dry fall. And this is the fourth major dry fall of Lee Wash. We're gonna have to backtrack a little bit and bypass it. Not gonna be climbing this. Bypassing using a burrow trail. Fairly easy bypass here. Here we are at the top of that dry fall, just looking over. I'm not looking over, I'm sticking my pole out. And the view back down these short narrows here. Here's some more golden evening primrose, wildflowers, as we've arrived at the third major dry fall of Lee Wash. This one is easily bypassed for us on the left side. We are past sunset now as we are in the upper canyon, upper Lee Wash. And we have bypassed 3 of the 5 major dry falls. So there's 2 major dry falls to go. And after that, I think that it's going to be pretty much clear walking to where we're going to camp. But at the same time, it's getting dark out, so I won't be able to show much more. This right here is the 2nd major dry fall. Supposedly about 25 feet high. We might call it Tumbleweed Falls. We're going to scout out a bypass route over on this side of the canyon. How's that?
Oh, it's so bright. Oh, it's like the sun.
I can't see where I'm going.
Yeah.
Is it safe?
Kind of. Yeah.
We are half-mile from camp. As you can see, we are doing a flashlight backpack here at the end, or at least we will be in a few minutes. Camp is all set up here. We hiked the last mile or so by moonlight, and now we're enjoying a little call picnic dinner right here in Lee Wash. So everyone have fun today?
Yeah,
I had a
great
blast.
day.
Oh, yeah, it was so much fun.
Seeing the little rats and the owl and all the colors.
The rats were definitely a
Flowers.
highlight.
The rats and the owl flying through the canyon
Yeah.
That was cool.
was neat. Seeing the owl twice.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Great day.
Definitely.
Well, good night everyone. See you tomorrow. Good morning and welcome to day 2 here on our Darwin Plateau backpacking trip. Right here is where we camped, basically up Lee Wash near the head of the canyon. And we had nice sandy ground. You can see some tumbleweeds in the wash behind me. Today we have a little bit different type of hike where we're going to be hiking along a 4-wheel drive road through Joshua Tree Forest for quite a while. Our first objective, we're heading toward South Pass.
So it was pretty cold last night. Everybody says Death Valley is really hot, but that is not always true. But I was really happy because I had my 0-degree bag, and so I stay nice and toasty. So looking forward to hiking with the sun today, even though it rained a little bit last night.
So yesterday I said the last time I was scared was 2019 in Capitol Reef National Park. I was backpacking with a friend through areas that included a lot of rock scrambling and kind of crawling over exposed ledges, and I found myself kind of clinging to this vertical rock about 10 feet over a pool of water, and I had mistakenly crawled out far enough that I was just clinging to the rock with my fingertips and my toes, and I really felt like I had a strong possibility that I was gonna slide down the rock and break my ankle in the water, and we were pretty far out in the backcountry, so that freaked me out. But that's the last time I really felt that gut clenching fear that I don't really get too often. Height don't scare me.
Did you get it yesterday when you were climbing Plunge Pool?
No.
This view is looking back. You can see the small hill in the distance. So Lee Wash runs right below that hill. That's where we were camping. And then right here you can see the road we're walking on. And then looking through here, this is Lee Flat, famous Joshua Tree Forest. And looking far in the distance there, you can see the snow-capped Inyo Mountains. It's quite beautiful seeing these mountains from camp and walking along this road. Been a beautiful start to this walk. Right here, we're leaving the road for a while and dropping into this canyon. Do a little exploration here. Just encountered this major dry fall in the canyon, which we easily bypassed. But here's the view looking back down the canyon we've been hiking up. You can even see all the way back to Lee Wash, about 2 miles away. That was a nice stretch of canyon. That was a fun section to hike. You can see the canyon ends here with this wash on the left, but the road rejoins us there on the right. So now they are merged back together. We are passing through just a beautiful little valley area. Some massive Joshua trees, some wild burros running around. Really neat area along this four-wheel drive road. For the last few hours, we've been hiking steadily uphill on this rarely used four-wheel drive road. And now we've crested, reached the high point of the road right here around 6,000 feet. As we continue making our way towards South Pass. Back there, we had just an incredible view looking at Telescope Peak, the Panamint. Then we could even see all the way to the Sierras, and the Inyo Mountains, of course, covered with snow as well. And as we drop down the other side of this crest, we're gonna no doubt have some more great views just ahead. The road has taken a sharp bend, but wow, what a view past the Joshua trees out toward the Inyo Mountains. Let me zoom in a little bit. Just incredible. This road has really delivered on scenery. Check out this vast open area as we drop down and are working our way towards Saline Valley Road. Have to say, I've been really impressed with this four-wheel drive road portion of the backpacking journey. I didn't know what to expect, whether or not just be kind of mundane desert, but the scenery's really delivered. We started out with that interesting canyon we hiked through, then went into a Joshua tree forest, and then came out upon all these views all around Telescope Peak, the Inyos, the Sierras. This has been nice. Right here, we've reached Saline Valley Road. You can see where our four-wheel drive road merges with Saline Valley Road right here. And from this spot, we're just following this main road to South Pass, exactly 2 miles from here. What did everyone think about that journey on this road?
Awesome views.
Yeah, I really liked it. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Really neat rock formations. Lots of Joshua trees.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I've driven past this road so many times. I've never noticed it. I've never driven down it. So it was a whole new part of the park, and even though it was a road, it felt more like a wilderness trail.
No tire tracks.
Yeah, just footprints.
Yeah, that was interesting. I had the same impression that it felt like we were hiking on a trail, not a road.
Yeah.
Very fun. We found some water shooting out of this hose here. Could fill up here if we were in a bind. We got some snow on the ground here near South Pass on the hillside here. So we continue heading down Saline Valley Road. We were just joking that the water hose and nozzle was option A for getting water if we need it, and option B is the snow over there, because we're gonna be heading into Mill Canyon shortly, and that's what we're relying on, the springs there to be flowing to get our drinking water. So as I was mentioning, the snow here, got a snowball. This is option B for water if we can't find it in Mill Canyon. But check this out. We just found option C right here. Look at this. Not the most ideal water source, but it can work if filtered. Here is our very first view looking down into Mill Canyon. We found a perfect spot to take our lunch break. Right above Mill Canyon. We have a really good view looking down at the wash far below. Some of the brush from the springs. And of course looking out into Panamint Valley and Telescope Peak beyond. We are arrived at South Pass, our drop-in point for Mill Canyon. This is our moment. We are dropping into the head of Mill Canyon, and we're gonna be through hiking it all the way. So a couple of things that we're keeping in mind as we go down here. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be looking for the spring for flowing water so that we can refill our bottles and have water for the rest of the day today and tomorrow. Also, we're going to be keeping an eye out for mountain lions. Mill Canyon is known to have some of the highest concentration of mountain lion sightings in the park. It's kind of a special canyon for Alicia. She's been wanting to do Mill Canyon for a long time, so she's thrilled to finally get a chance to see it. We have made it down, and we're very happy backpackers and campers. Nice flowing spring right from the start here. Our first stop here in the canyon, we're doing a fill up of water from this spring. We have some cold lemonade to celebrate being here and having made it down successfully. Filling up quick. Perfect. We just bypassed our first section of very thick wall-to-wall brush in the canyon. We just noticed that water flow has picked up quite a bit. The spring is running higher. Here's another area of very thick brush that we had to bypass. No way through it. All of us are quite surprised to just see how much water is flowing down Mill Canyon. We were hoping the springs would be fully recharged after the recent rains and snowfall of winter, and sure enough they were. But as we've been progressing down canyon, it's just growing and growing in the amount of water. And that's not a guarantee. That's why we were concerned whether or not we'd be able to get water here, is at times these springs do dry up and hikers have come through here. I should say the very rare hiker, because this canyon is not hiked hardly at all. It's very infrequently hiked. But some past groups have come through and found it dry.
They've definitely been in the water. Like those stones are full of mud.
Yeah. And debris washed it down.
It looks like two male mule deer were fighting and got their antlers entangled and couldn't get themselves unlocked.
We haven't spent much time looking high up the canyon at the hillsides because we're so focused on the spring. But this is a good spot where everything kind of opens up a little bit. Up on this hillside, a huge rock slide came down. You could see how the whole hillside gave way right there, dropped into the canyon. Mill Canyon's really delivering on spectacular scenery. This is about a 15-foot high waterfall that we came across in the middle canyon. Really, really beautiful. We made it to the ruins in the lower canyon, and we found a register here for people hiking down Mill Canyon. Not many names in it, but I found mine from March 12th, 2010. And let me just tell you what I wrote here. I said, hike down Mill Canyon on way to 50-foot fall in Panamint Dunes. One-way hike from South Pass to Lake Hill. These are the ruins in Mill Canyon. Very neat spot, a lot to check out here, including this. This right here is another spring coming in from the ruins side canyon. The ruins are right up there. And this spring is also flowing quite good as it merges with the main spring running down the canyon. Right here. We are bypassing a major section of overgrown brush. Things have gotten incredibly challenging for us in the lower canyon. Just wall to wall brush. We were fighting our way through it back there. Wow, this is some nasty stuff. We are standing at the rim of Mill Falls, the crown jewel of Mill Canyon. It's at full flow right now. We're going to do the challenging bypass now and get around to the bottom of the falls. The bypass of the waterfall involves getting around this, and it is not for most people. Gotta go down this next. Here's the treacherous bypass we just came down. We made it. We're here at Mill Falls, which is the highlight of this backpacking adventure. And it is flowing incredibly high. This is a spectacular 50-foot waterfall that very few people in the world have ever seen. Very challenging route to get here, and yeah, I'm just blown away by the beauty. The first time I came here, this waterfall was not flowing nearly at this level. So this is truly a special moment for all of us. We are leaving Mill Falls behind. We made it to camp here in Mill Canyon, just below the waterfall. And
Hooray!
we just
Food.
yeah, nice hot dinner. So we'll talk to you more about the waterfall, about the bypass, about mountain lions, about everything we saw today in the morning. So we're gonna keep it short and sweet. So good night, see you in the morning.
Night.
Good morning and welcome to day 3 on our backpacking adventure as we're finishing up our hike down Mill Canyon. But I thought we could just have a little discussion about yesterday's hike, because when we all got in here it was so dark and when we were setting up camp. But first of all, Mill Canyon, what did everybody think of Mill Canyon, and how would you describe it hiking down it?
I thought it was pretty special with all of the water and seeing all of the sandbars that have been kind of eroded away. I don't know if it's from flooding or if that's just how it always is, but there's a lot of water, which is really special for Death Valley.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a really unique place to go, and I think it's really neat that it starts from a place that I've passed by so often, starting up at South Pass, but I really didn't know anything that was down this canyon. and seeing water almost all the way from start to finish was really cool. And it was just like a tough hike, but really enjoyable the whole time. Like great views. The only really difficult part was the reeds, like getting past some really thick brush, but there was always a way around.
Lots of willows.
Lots of willows.
Very strenuous.
Yeah, that first drop down was a little bit of a challenge from South Pass.
True.
And as mentioned, we were pretty much in the spring or creek the whole time, going down, except when we could bypass it and go on one side or the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, truly beautiful. Let's see, then we got to the bypass because we had to get we have to get down the canyon. So
yeah,
we got to the overlook or the rim of the waterfall,
Yep.
which was about 50 feet in height.
yeah.
What
That was
did
a
you
little
think?
scary. I did not get too close to the edge on that one. That one was cling to the wall type situation.
Same.
Would not recommend for anybody with any remote fear of heights.
Yeah,
Yeah, agreed.
the bypass was kind of interesting because at the bottom part it's real smooth and it kind of slopes downward.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we had wet feet hiking in the water, so that is a formula for disaster.
Yep.
But just up a little bit there were kind of like some steps in the rock, but still I think, as Alicia said, that it's not something we recommend. I
Okay.
think if somebody really wants to get to this waterfall, hiking in from where we're ending,
The bottom.
yeah, as a day hike, which would be 19 miles round trip, but then they could see this waterfall.
It is a really cool waterfall, but yeah, hard to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, we were all discussing earlier, this is subjective, but about how many waterfalls you could say there are in Death Valley that have the height such as this one and the beauty that'd be a worthy hiking destination or that hikers could get to. And personally, I came up with 4, where we have Monarch, Willow, Darwin, and Mill.
Yeah.
So,
And other seasonals.
but this waterfall, I think, just from my standpoint, is probably my favorite.
Really cool.
Quite a setting there as the canyon is really boxed in and it's flowing over the edge. Just overwhelming beauty.
Now we're all looking around like, where is it?
So we had an interesting experience when we got to camp. Mountain lions were already on my mind in this canyon because when I first hiked through it, I saw tracks imprinted in the ground. Also, I had heard past hikers, several of them had spotted mountain lions in and around the area, which is very unusual. But then we got to camp, and like the moment we set our packs down, there was rock fall coming down the canyon, and
We weren't sure if it was natural or if it was a mountain lion or something else, but haven't really seen any sheep around, so.
in fact, yeah, as we're talking,
Oh, rocks are coming down.
Yeah.
Huh.
wow, what eerie timing.
I don't see anything up there.
No,
Well, there's so many places to hide. Yeah, I don't know if that's just natural erosion, like why now? Why so much all at once? Or something's moving around up there.
But it was doing it off and on during the night, too.
Yeah.
The rocks were coming down.
yeah, so either it was natural erosion, as Michelle mentioned, or we were being watched here and there by Kitty.
We made sure not to put our tents anywhere near where rocks were going to fall.
True.
All right, we're gonna head out now.
Yeah.
We just turned a corner here in Mill Canyon and the spring has mostly gone back underground. Just a little trickle through the mud here. We're continuing to head toward the canyon mouth, which is not far away. And right here we've reached the canyon mouth. Dry creek bed, and everything has opened up quite a bit. We are saying goodbye to Mill Canyon. Now that we've left Mill Canyon behind, we're going to be crossing Panamint Valley, the northern end, from one side to the other. And you saw how beautiful Mill Falls was there yesterday evening as we passed it by, and I shared some footage. But I thought I'd mention, if somebody wanted to see Mill Falls, which I honestly feel is the most beautiful waterfall in the park, then I don't recommend going the way we did, because that bypass was so treacherous and would be unsafe for most people without the skills and ability to get by it safely. But it could be done as a 19-mile round trip backpack or day hike, parking at the spot where we're ending on Lake Hill Road. But something to keep in mind, because this is a seasonal waterfall, it's not going to be flowing at all times. It'll be dried up at certain times of year. So good time to go might be when the park has had a lot of rains, the springs are recharged fully, and then the waterfall will likely be flowing pretty nicely. But we had perfect timing when we saw it. So happy how that turned out. We have more to see today as we cross Panamint Valley. Just up ahead, we're gonna have some nice views. Here's our first really good full view of the Panamint Sand Dunes, and stretching on into Panamint Valley with Lake Hill. But the Panamint Dunes from right here are about 3 miles or so from here to the edge of the dunes. And that is our big objective for today, to get to the Panamint Dunes. Crossing a massive wash coming down from Hunter Mountain right here. This fairly direct route we're taking to the dunes. A lot of deep drainage crossings. Not easy. Check out this 360 view here as we're crossing northern Panamint Valley. All these drainage gullies. Looking down toward PSR, over toward Lee Wash, and back up toward the mouth of Mill Canyon. Here's an example of what we're dealing with. These massive wash crossings. Difficult but fun. Crossing the northern end of Panamint Valley, the terrain has not lightened up one bit. All rough walking. But as we approach the Panamint Dunes, this will be my 4th time visiting the Panamint Dunes. And I think Michelle's 2nd and Alicia's 1st. It's really going to be special for her because she gets to approach the dunes from the opposite side for her first time visiting them. Very unique. As you can see, we're almost to the edge of the Panamint Dunes, getting in here very closely. And again, by coming down through Mill Canyon, we are approaching the dunes from the opposite direction that day hikers come from, because they would be coming from Lake Hill Road. So that's what makes the experience more special. We have made it to the Panamint Dunes. Another great moment on a backpacking adventure filled with great moments. We are at the northern end of the dunes, and we're working our way toward the highest point, the highest dune. This is a special experience, backpacking across the Panamint Dunes. Something special about leaving the first footprints. Made it to the peak of the Panamint Sand Dunes, the highest dune. And what a view we have looking out at Panamint Valley. Just so much to see around here. Let me take a moment and show you some of the views from the highest point on the dunes. We have the Cottonwood Mountains in the background. We have the Panamint Mountains with Telescope Peak covered by snow. Then we have Lake Hill and Panamint Dry Lake, stretching into southern Panamint Valley. Continuing around here to the canyons of the Darwin Plateau. You can actually see back in there Lee Wash, where we were a couple days ago, where it exits into Panamint Valley. And more of the surrounding dune fields. And this is looking back toward Mill Canyon, where we came from earlier today, and up at Hunter Mountain. And those are the views. That right there is the high point that we just left. And we're heading on down. Love seeing the ripples and patterns on untouched sand. Whoa, here we go. Looking back there at the highest point. Such beauty here. We are diverting course just slightly from the usual route because we see bright expanse of yellow out in Panamint Valley just north of the lake bed. So we're gonna go check that out.
It's hot. It is. Tired.
We've come to the end of our backpacking adventure. We're just about a mile from our vehicle. So thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed checking out all these amazing places we got to see. See you later.